We are studying this day in history here on the Scott Show podcast. Sorry about that, but it's one of those days. I think it's because I have the heat up and, your body just kind of kicks it into high gear when that happens. So we are looking at January 2nd. It is the second day of the year. Go figure, we're in the beginning of 2018. We start with the events going on, including in 553 where Mercurius becomes Pope John II, the first pope to adopt a new name under the elevation to the papacy. I kind of got into that, looked into it a little bit more. It is amazing. In fact, 48 out of the 50 popes that started the whole thing are saints. And some of them are fathers to the other popes, meaning that for a long time they did not have the rules they have now. In 1777, moving up a little bit, in 1777, the Revolutionary War, the American forces under the command of George Washington repulsed a British attack at the Battle in Trenton. In 1788, Georgia becomes the fourth state to ratify the Constitution. In 1791, the Big Bottom Massacre in Ohio country, marking the beginning of the Northwest Indian War. In 1833, the reassertion of British sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. We talked about that yesterday a little bit. In 1863, the American Civil War. The Battle of Stones River resumes in central Tennessee after a day's respite, resulting in a significant Union victory. In 1900, American statesman and diplomat John Hay announces an open-door policy to promote trade with China. If you want to hear a great Donald Trump impression, Scott and Kyle show, check it out. In the Russo-Japanese War, the Russian garrison surrenders at Port Arthur, China. Another China. 1920, the second Palmer raid takes place after another 6,000 suspected communists and anarchists arrested and held without trial. In 1941, German bombing severely damages the cathedral in Cardiff, Wales. In 1942, the FBI convicts 33 members of a German spy ring headed by Fritz Duquesne in the largest espionage case in the United States history. 1942, in Philippines is captured by Japanese forces. In 1945, Nuremberg, Germany is severely bombed by Allied forces. In 1955, Panamanian President Canera is assassinated. In 1959, Luna 1, the first spacecraft to reach the vicinity of the moon and to orbit the sun, is launched by the Soviet Union. I'm going to find out a little bit more about Luna 1 when I'm done with this show. The Viet Cong wins its first major victory in 1963. In 1967, Ronald Reagan is sworn in as the governor of California. In 1974, United States President Richard Nixon signs a bill lowering the maximum speed limit to 55 miles an hour in order to conserve gasoline. In 1976, the gale of January 76 begins, which results in coastal flooding along the southern North Sea coast, resulting in 82 deaths and $1.3 billion in damage. In 1981, the largest investigation by a British police force ends when Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, was arrested in Sheffield, South Yorkshire. In 1991, Sharon Pratt Kelly becomes the first African-American woman mayor of a major city and the first woman mayor of the District of Columbia. In 1999, a brutal snowstorm smashes into the Midwest, causing 14 inches of snow in Milwaukee and 19 in Chicago. Temperatures plunge to 13 below zero and 68 deaths are reported. In 2004, Stardust officially flies past Comet Wild 2, collecting samples that are returned to the Earth. I'm going to find out a little bit more about that too. And the last thing on this day in history, 2006, explosion in a mine in West Virginia traps and kills 12 miners, leaving only one survivor. So we're going to go to who was born on this day. I did look at the list a little bit ahead of time. I also looked at the list of people who died, and there weren't a lot of historical ones, so I think we might skip that a little bit today. Nathaniel Bacon was born this day in 1647. I like the name, so therefore he gets a shout out. So there you go. If you guys wonder why sometimes people get shout outs, and you're like, I have no idea who that is, that's why. I like the name, or I know who they are. So if you guys ever wonder, just ask. Barry Goldwater, born this day, 1909. Of course, the politician, general, ran for office. So that was really cool. Ran for president of the United States. Peter Redgrove, 1932. Roger Miller, happy birthday to Roger Miller, born 1936. Jim Baker, born this day, 1940. Looks like he actually is still alive, which that's a trip. Dennis Haskert, who was the 59th Speaker of the House of Representatives. Happy birthday to Dennis. Jack Hanna, happy birthday to Jack Hanna. Wendy Phillips, happy birthday to Wendy Phillips. American actress. I think we know who we're talking about, but I'm going to check anyway. She was in the show Falcon Crest. Awesome, and happy birthday to her. That's really great. Henry Bonilla, happy birthday to Henry. Happy birthday to Craig James, the man himself, Craig James, sports broadcaster. I think the world of the guy. He's just cool. Tia Carrere, happy birthday to you. Pernell Whitaker. Cuba Gooding Jr., happy birthday to Cuba Gooding Jr. today. Trey Diggs. It's Trey Diggs' birthday today. I love Trey Diggs. Rent. You guys have ever seen the movie Rent? Awesome stuff. Karina Smirnoff, happy birthday to you today. And Mandy Harvey, happy birthday to you. And Bryson Tiller, happy birthday to you as well. Alright, like I said, there's not a lot of people. There is a list of people who died on Wikipedia. Tex Ritter, I could say Tex Ritter died in 1974. Father to one of the best actors I can remember, John Ritter. And there you go. Alan Hale Jr. died in 1990. Wow. And Alan Hale Jr. is best known for playing on Gilligan's Island. And, he was a skipper on Gilligan's Island. So he died this day in 1990. So, that's a pretty good one right there. Nancy Kelly died this day in 1995. As we move along in this day in history, Anne Francis died 2011. Jay Traynor died 2014. As we go along in this day in history, you guys might notice that when they become celebrities, they get a Wikipedia page, then we talk about them. That's just kind of how it works. Alright, so it is Festival Day in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is Ancestry Day in Haiti. It is National Cream Puff Day in the United States, and Victory, the Armed Forces Day in Cuba. So that has been this day in history. We'll see you guys very soon on the Scott Show podcast. Have a great rest of your day.